So let me hear from you, Dr. Dagogo. How is it affecting your own side of the industry?
Thank you so much, and happy to be here. Let me take a different part, if I may. For me, the structural weaknesses I see, it's not just talents or ideas, not even just innovation or funding or capacity. For me, I think that the structural weakness, the bottlenecks here, is that everybody is trying to build in isolation.
Absolutely.
For example, the government will lay out policies. They will design policies without having the real builders in the room, just like one of our speakers was saying. You see startups, they try to design, solutions without having the government context into play. We also see, for example, nations, countries designing digital systems that cannot go beyond the borders of Nigeria or Africa. When these things continue to happen, the results that we will have is that ideas, fantastic ideas, will begin to die slowly and quietly. I think I'll be able to speak more on this as we proceed.
Sadly, yes, that's true, because we actually need the government backing for things to accelerate, because we're talking about accelerating growth. So it's not as if the seed is not there. We're talking about growth. And how do we get this happen? Now, we can have these conversations. Then what's the next level? How can we get our government? You know what happens? So you should get into the government. Who would do it if not you and I, right? So I remember a short conference we had recently with young children, young girls, and they were asking questions. How do I get into policy making? How can I become a diplomat? So these are the kind of questions you should be asking. As you're building your skill, you should be looking at how can I get into decision-making rooms? Okay? The pathway, right? So let's hear from Dr. Dagogo.
Thank you. I think I want to come from where you started,
okay,
if I may. An important question I believe we should ask ourselves is, does the system that we are in make it easy or harder for us to do the right thing? Just think about that for a second. The government should not try to out-innovate the private sector. Rather they should try and see how best they can allow them plug into it. I see a future-proof policy environment as one where we would have, the government, first of all, clearly define to us what are the national problems. Tell us what are the problems. And then, secondly, they should let us, the private sector, the startups, let them prefer tailored solutions to these problems. And then allow them test out the solutions. And the last but most important part, which many a times the government is resistant to, is once we see that the solutions work, allow for a national rollout, allow for the adoption of the solution. Now, we see the case of the fintech industry, the fintech sector, and I want to say that the success that they've achieved was not accidental. The regulatory bodies actually partnered early on with these guys. So look at Paystack, for example. One would think that they just emerged. No, CBN did not make Paystack to become a bank. And this is what has led to their success. But the reverse is what we see in health tech, as he was saying, and ed tech, for example. These systems are currently resistant to private solutions. Now, take, for example, procurement. In the hospital, it's very slow. Or look at the schools. Digitalization is still backward. But if we can have the same alignment that we currently do have, or the alignment we've seen with the fintech sector, have that introduced into the health tech sector, and as well as the ed tech sector, we would see rapid development across these sectors.
Yeah, that's great. So you see, one good thing is that Nigeria is evolving. I still believe that decisions are being made, conversations are being had in many places. The only challenge we have is that we're very slow about it. And it's not, just like you said, it doesn't take so long to achieve. Within 4 years, we can transform the outlook of things in Nigeria if the decision makers are doing the right thing and enabling the people that are ready to do the work. It can be discouraging sometimes when you have to go through offices and offices and offices, and at the end of the day, they tell you, where did your file stop? I don't think we have seen it. You start over. And maybe the person that is meant to attend to your document and approve it has left the country for vacation. And by the time he came back, they don't know where the file is, or maybe rats eat it. So the thing is, we are all in a system where a lot has to change. It might not necessarily have to be an innovation, but the system has to be overhauled in a great way. So now let's go into the side that we are all interested about when we talk about money. Every one of us, as an innovator, as a builder, one thing you're looking at is how do I raise funds? How do I scale? So in the aspect of capital, okay, there are quite some questions here, but I want to go straight for the ones that will hit a chord. Okay, so we're talking about national priorities. How can financing and institutional resources be better aligned with national priorities? Let's start from you, Dr. Dagogo. What do you think? How do you think financing can align to our national priorities? We mentioned quite a few things now. So how can funding drive our dreams?
Yes, thank you. So I also like the fact that you said let's bring it home, because I believe that there are many entrepreneurs here who are trying to either scale their business or get into that front line. One of the mistakes I see a lot of founders make is that they think that funding is dependent on how good your storytelling is. But whereas it's actually dependent on risk reduction. And when we talk about risk reduction, I think that the fastest way to reduce risks is partnership. And that's where we're missing it. Partnership. When a founder looks at a startup, what they're looking at is not just how good your product is, that's important, but they're looking at who is ready to buy at scale. They're looking at who bears the risks when things go south. And if these questions are unclear, trust me, money is slow. You will keep writing emails and sending and calling, but nothing happens. All right? But if we can change that, for example, Paystack, as we all very much know, they didn't achieve success by going to millions of people and forcing them to, take on a new system. But what did they do? They partnered with banks that people already trust. Smart. There's an initiative I'm launching next year. It's called Highlight Initiative, Highlight Africa. And the plan is that we want to go into 10 African countries, and we're bringing health and tech to the women of different age groups. Now, in order to achieve this against 2026, obviously, what we decided to do was to get partners. So we got so many NGOs in these various nations to partner with us. But these NGOs are not bringing the money. Many of them is just resource, manpower. And in order to now get the guys that will now bring the money, what we did was we reached out to them and we said, we have this foundation on board with us. We have this company on board with us. We have this and this and this and this. And you know what that does is that it does not just put only your reputation as a company forward, but their reputation as well. And guess what? Today, I received an email saying that they are willing to fund part of the project. I think we can put a clap to that. That's the secret of partnership. So youngsters in the room, you shouldn't just ask yourself, how can I raise funds? I think you should rather be asking yourself, who already controls the market? Who already controls the demand? You don't need to say, why is Africa hard? Why is Nigeria hard? Rather say, who can I partner with that would make it easy? When we begin to ask these questions, trust me, funding will be much easier. So partnership is key.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Please clap your hand. Please go ahead. Thank you very much. We are told our time is up. So just in one word or two, what is it that we should be looking forward to to improve inclusivity, innovation in our society?
Okay, thank you. So I'll just keep mine pretty short.
Yes.
To youngsters in the building, don't try to be the hero, right? Partner with someone who understands what you do not understand. I like to say that you don't need to have an office in another continent before you can have impact in that continent. That you can still be transcontinental in your thought, even from the get-go. Secondly, do not just be problem-oriented, be solution-oriented. You know, Nigeria has a lot of people that can beautifully describe the problems that we have, but you have to take it a notch further and be solution-oriented. And do not just stop in being solution-oriented. Lots of people stop there. Move from being solution-oriented to being result-oriented. Result speaks faster than words will ever speak. And by result, I'm not talking about how much, but how well. So how excellent is that thing that you are doing? Is there a touch of professionalism in that? And the moment you begin to do this, definitely rooms will open. Do not step into any room or knock on any door if you don't have results to show, no matter how small.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Please put your hands together for the speakers.